Sharkie Gamer here. So today we're going to take a look at the Snipa Tracer Illuminated Mouse Pad. So this is a gaming mouse pad that also has the illumination function to it, so it connects via USB. So before we go more into the pad, let's have a look at this packaging. So up the top there it says Snipa Tracer Illuminated Mouse Pad, USB logo just there. Going down it also has some pretty cool kind of artwork, it sort of make it look like a first person shooter type style artwork, I reckon. It's got the crosshair, got explosions in the background, and then going down you of course can see there's an image there of the actual mouse pad illuminated. So it's got illumination all around the edges there, and you can see that it's pretty bright. Down here it says Precision Gaming Surface, and it gives you sort of like a little feel test there. You can feel the surface of the pad before you buy it, and it's basically got like a textured feel to it. So that's the front, so let's turn on to the back now. Now the back has a couple more features of the pad, and I'll just read the key ones here. A responsive gaming surface, low profile, illuminated mouse pad, high quality acrylic gloss, wide footprint, dimmer dial on USB cable. And then going down it shows you another image there, tells you the size, so large size, 305 by 230 by 5mm, constructed from rugged high quality materials, illumination color blue. And here it's got a little description in English here. The Snipa Tracer Illuminated Mouse Pad features one of the fastest and most responsive gaming surface in the field. The dimmer dial, conveniently located on the USB cable, allows direct control of the brightness and illumination. Combined with a performance gaming mouse, the Tracer will greatly enhance your gameplay. Forged from high quality acrylic glass, the low profile and wide footprint mouse surface means you will always be equipped for combat performance. And the rest of course is all in different languages. So now the actual packaging here is basically one of those blister packs, so you actually have to cut it open, which is what I've done. Otherwise you just got to cut it along the edge to get it open. So just pull this mouse pad out and have a closer look at it. Now you do get a little document here, and this just goes into the basic features of how to clean it, how to care for it, how to set it up initially to plug the USB in, etc. It's just a really basic starter guide here. So just really basic. Okay, so this is the Tracer mouse mat. So you can see here there's a USB connection on it, and the cable should be long enough to go from your desk to your tower. And just on the end of the cable here you have a switch, like a little dial, and that's how you adjust the brightness of the actual mouse pad. So it's like your brightness control, which I'll get more into that in a moment. Now the mouse pad itself, first off the bat, is very solid. So this is a very solid mouse mat. It's not going to bend or anything. Like they mentioned on this is actually made from acrylic glass, so it's a very nice surface, very nice hard surface that actually put this on. Now the top of it here is a textured surface. I don't know if the camera can really pick it up, but it's got like a very bit of a texture to it, and this is so they can actually, when you put the mouse on it, the sensor can really nicely, easily, smoothly glide across this pad. Now on the pad itself you've got the Snipa logo as well as the Tracer logo up the top there. That's what it looks like, and this is still a pretty large pad, so I mean for most gamers this should be fine. It's not as large as it could be. Improvement to this pad would make it the same sort of thing, just a bit larger, but other than that it's still a very nice size. It still should be more than enough room for you to move your mouse across while you're gaming. Turning it over onto the other side here, you've got nice rubber feet here, and once you put this on a surface you're going to find it's not going to slip very easily. As you can see it's very solid. Like if I push that pretty hard and I'm pushing pretty hard, it's not slipping at all. So it's going to sit solid. I really like those feet. They are very solid when you put them on a surface and they just don't slip. Now with actually using this pad, I'll get into the use before I get into the illumination. With using it, it's very smooth. Mice just glide across the surface really nicely. I've tried different mice with it. I've used this as my primary mouse mat for like quite a few months to get a feel for it so I can give a proper review. And I must admit it's a very nice pad. I've been using this with my Sayatech Cyborg Rat 7, and the Rat works perfectly with it. And I know most of you know the Rat is pretty fussy when it comes to mouse mats, and it works perfectly with this pad. It glides really nice and smoothly. You can see after a couple of months of use there's not really too much scratches or anything like that, so it's a very nice hard wearing kind of mouse mat, and I'll probably continue using this one because it really is nice. Really nice smooth surface. The only thing I can say with improvement of using it is when you actually have your hand on here, you can feel this into your palm. It does not affect you because it's actually rounded. I don't know if you can even see that properly, but it's actually got a rounded sort of surface. So even though it's a hard surface, it's not going to really affect you because it's so rounded. And it is very slim. It's a very kind of slim. But once you put it on the ground, it is slightly lifted off there, just slightly. And that's just because the feet sit there and it sits up, but this actually sits slanted upwards a little bit, if that makes sense. So when you're actually gaming, sometimes you can actually lean like this, and it'll flip the top bit up here. You can see how that. So if you lean too hard with maybe your palm or your arm just there onto the edge of it, that's when you're going to flip it up. Like, I don't do that often, but a couple of times I did that accidentally, and I noticed it kind of flipped that up a little bit. So it probably would have been a bit improved if they had maybe made that completely flat, so that when it was actually flat on the ground, both the legs and that were completely kind of flush with the actual surface of your desk, because then it wouldn't do that. And it's only because this acrylic glass is slightly slanted inwards that it does that. And I think they did that to try and make that a bit more smoother so it doesn't dig in, which it doesn't. It's very smooth. It doesn't bug my wrist at all. The only thing with that problem was that actually that. Otherwise, it was perfect. It worked perfectly with games, performance-wise, Windows, anything like that. Mouse glided, never had any problems with tracking or anything like that, or missing tracking. So it's a really nice pad. It works really well. Now going into the bonus feature of this thing, which is basically because it's illuminated mouse map. So how does it work? Well, you just take your USB plug here, you plug it in to a USB. Alright, so at the moment I don't have the actual brightness turned up. So at this moment the light's completely off, there's no light whatsoever. If I use this dial now and I adjust it, you can see the light is slowly starting to come on. Now I'll just turn this one light off so you can actually see it a little bit better. So that is what it looks like, and of course in a very dark room it's pretty bright. It shines right up, so it's a really nice brightness on it. It's all around the edges there. So it looks really nice. So it's a really nice pad. It glows really nicely, and of course that brightness dial means you can have it bright, or you can put it medium. You can just adjust it to where you want it to do, or you can just turn it completely off. So you can adjust it to wherever you want it. Now, like I mentioned before, I've been using this for a couple of months, trying it out, trying to get a feel for it, and I have to admit, most of the time that I've been using it, I've pretty much turned the LED off. And the reason I've turned it off is because this comes down to the placement on your desk as well. Like the way I've actually got it placed, because the way my setup, I don't have much desk room. I have this more centered, a little bit more, like a lot of people have their mouse pretty far over this way. I have to have it more like this, because I just don't have enough space on the desktop with with my 3 monitor setup. So because I have that, I have to put it inwards, and by doing that and the way I sit when I'm gaming, the LEDs on the side here shine directly into my eyes, and it really bugs me. Like, I can't, if I look at the screen, I can see it in the corner of my eye, and it's shining directly into my eyes, which has just bugged me. And I found even turning it to a low setting, like something like that, it still shines. You can see the LEDs like sticking out there. It still shines like directly into my eyes. At the moment, it's not shining into my eyes because I'm higher up than it. So it comes down to how you've actually got it set on your desk. I just know that I've tried a couple of different positions given what space I have on my desk, and either way it shines. So what I've been doing is I've just been turning the actual light off, which kind of defeats the purpose of having Illuminated Mouse Map. But I mean, it is a cool thing. It looks pretty cool. Like, I've tried in a dark room, it shines really nice and bright. You can see exactly where the surface of your mouse mat is, so that way you know not to go over or anything like that. You know that's the end of your mouse mat. So it gives you a bit of guideline in a dark room where the end of your mouse mat is. So it is a pretty cool thing. It looks pretty cool on kind of a gaming setup, because it's bright. You know, it goes in probably if you have, especially if you have blue LEDs on your setup, it'll go very nicely with that. But I just feel like depending on where you're placed on your desk, the LED may prove to be more of an annoyance than actually a plus. It's a plus if you're gaming at night and you want to just see the edges of your mouse mat, or you just want it to look cool in your gaming setup, because I mean, face it, most of us when we have a setup, we kind of want it to look at least slightly a bit cool. Even if it's not too practical, we still want it to look cool. That's us gamers for you. But when it comes down to actually playing a game with it, I find that LED shining into my eyes is just too distracting, and I just turn the LED completely off. So it's like this, just completely off, and I use it just like that. And I just use the mouse across of it as normal. So I'm just using it like a normal mouse mat, and I'm not even having the LED turned on, which I still feel kind of defeats the purpose of having it. But like I said again, it comes down to your surface. I mean, you might buy one of these things, put it on your desk, and you might have no problems because the way it's placed on your desk, it does not catch your eye. So again, it comes down to setup, probably personal preference, and everything like that. But overall, it is a very nice mouse pad. It works really well with all games. I've really liked it. I'll probably keep using it as my main mouse mat for the time being. It works well, all the tracking's fine, it works well with the rat, which is a really nice plus, because a lot of mouse mats don't work well with the rat very well. So this one works well with the rat. And overall, it's a very nice pad, tracks very nicely, very smooth. Like I said before, probably my 3 improvements to this would be: 1, have it slightly bit bigger; 2, have that more flatter so it doesn't do this; and 3, maybe rethink how the LEDs are actually placed on the actual pad, so that no matter where you have it placed, it does not shine into your eyes while you're gaming. Because it's really nice to have that color, but it's not nice to have something shining into your eyes distracting you while you're trying to focus on a game. So those are probably the 3 improvements I can think of, but otherwise it's a very good mouse mat. It looks really cool, so it's very visually appealing. The light would of course help you at night to see the edges of your pad so you don't go off the pad completely. Very sturdy design, very solid mouse mat. You're not going to easily break this or anything like that, or bend it, should I say. It's going to be a pretty solid pad. That's what the underneath looks like when it's illuminated, so you can see the lights coming off there. And I don't know if you can see, but the logo is also slightly illuminate. That one doesn't, just the line through it does, sort of thing. But overall, I think they probably didn't think the LEDs through too well, especially with placement on a desktop. So for me personally, I do like this mouse mat. I do set it up on my computer at the moment. I am using it on a daily basis, but I have the LEDs turned completely off. Now, with buying one of these mouse mats, these are very rare now. I mean, to find one of these things, you have to be very lucky to find one. I was lucky to find one in its packaging, brand new, but you just don't see these anymore. You just don't see them. You very rarely, and when you do see them, it's usually by someone trying to list them and asking for a ridiculous price, like they want $100 for this thing. And I don't think it's worth that. I paid about $30 for mine, and $30 is probably worth it. You know, you're getting a illuminated mouse pad, so it's a little bit more than a standard mouse mat because it plugs in via USB and it's got all the LEDs on it. But other than that, I mean, you don't really want to pay $100 for this thing. So if you're looking for one of these things, I would wait until an auction comes up. Maybe there's a used one, or maybe someone has a brand new one that they haven't used and put on an auction. Otherwise, don't worry about some of the hugely buy it nows that are on eBay. I just don't think it's worth, you know, $60, $100, something like that. It's just too much for this, especially if you might end up turning the LED completely off. And then to begin with, you know, since it's so rare, and essentially if you turn the LED off, you're not really using it as an illuminated mouse pad, you're just using it as a standard mouse pad. So maybe think about going for the other Snipa mouse pads that they have, or go for a Razer one or something else. Whatever really suits you, especially if you want a larger size. If you want a larger size, then definitely this mouse mat might be a little bit too small for you. But overall, I still think it's a really nice mouse mat. It's probably a bit of a collectible now since it's so rare. But, you know, it's pretty cool, and I'll keep using it and see how I go with it. But I will be having the LED turned off, unfortunately. Although it does look pretty awesome when it's turned on, I have to admit. Turn it on, and with the setup, it looks awesome. But anyway, guys, I think that's about all I can say about this one. So this was the Snipa Tracer Illuminated Mouse Pad. Thanks for watching, guys. I am Sharkie Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more gaming, control, and accessory videos up very shortly. If you like this video, hit that like button. It really helps out a lot, guys. And as always, feel free to leave a comment down below if you want to. And of course, share this video, as that helps spread my video around. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching.